I'm going to show you how to create a layered file in Photoshop. So to begin, you want to open a new file. This is a new file. How you do that is you go to File, New, and it gives you the option of creating the size and resolution of your file that you're opening. I have a preset for an 8.5 by 11 horizontal piece that I'm going to start with. So I'm going to select that. It is going to be 11 inches wide, 8.5 inches tall with a resolution of 300. And that is typical print size. So if you're going to want to print your document, you can easily do that with this size. So this is the blank size, and the blank document is called Untitled. And now I'm going to open up an image to copy paste into it. So I go to File, Open, and this is my group of different textures and photos that I use for my collages. And I'll begin with a simple one that is a photograph of a wall. Select that, open it, and I don't want to work directly on this. I want to transfer it to my new untitled piece. So I basically need to select this entire image. So I go to Select All, and now this entire image is selected. Then I am going to copy, edit, copy, and I'm going to paste it onto my new document. So I went up here to the tabs bar, and I'm switching back and forth between these two tabs. This is the image I just opened. This is my new document, which is going to be my final piece. So I have already saved, copied, and now I'm going to paste it into this new file. So edit, paste. And there it is. And it's nearly the same size, but I want to make it slightly larger. So I'm going to go into the Move tool. It's already in Move tool. I want to make sure that my transform controls are showing by clicking this box here. And you can see that these boxes that show up on the side, these little squares, are how you pull your image out to fill that space. And you can crop your image and make it much larger. I'm going to only crop it slightly. And so now I have the first layer of my new layered image. I have a white plain background that's the size of my final piece, and I have my first layered image on top of it. Now I'm going to add a second layer. Hit OK, and I'm going to create a second layer by opening a new document from that same file, and I'm going to choose another photograph that I took, a bike route sign that I thought was very interesting. And in this case, I don't want to copy this entire page because I don't want the background. I just want the inside image of the sign. So I'm going to actually use the rectangular marquee tool, which is right here. So I select the rectangular marquee tool, and starting in the upper right-hand corner, I drag it down, and I fill Yes, I just select the exact image that I want to copy. So now I have selected this rectangle of image, and I'm going to copy that. Edit, copy. And now I'm going to go back to my untitled document that already has one layer, and I'm going to paste it directly on top. And there it shows up. Now I'm going to go back to the Move tool, and I'm going to fill the space with this image as well. Okay, now I have a background that is blank, and I have two layers. You can see here on the Layers panel that you have Layer 1 and Layer 2. To open the Layers panel, in case you do not have that open, you go up to Window, you select on Window, and you select Layers. And that Layers panel will appear in the side panel bin here. I also like to use History so that I can have a complete list of all the steps that I have taken on my document so far. So that is where the layer panels comes from, and I can see now that I have two layers and a background. Now I want to make the top layer semi-transparent so that I can combine these two images together. And I'm going to do that by coming over here to where it says opacity. It is currently at 100%, and I'm going to take the scale down to 50%. And so that makes it half bike route, half background wall. And you can see how the two images combine. So that is how you create two layers of imagery. Now, if you want to sharpen the imagery and make it clearer, you can go to layer, just not letting me do that. Okay, so you go to Image, Adjustments, and you can go to this panel called Hue Saturation. So on this panel, you can lighten and darken your layer. You can see here that it goes to white on one side and black on the other. You can take up the saturation so that it becomes very vivid one direction, or the other direction it becomes black and white. So those are your choices there, and then the top one is Hue, which changes the color profile. So you can see how the bike route, because that's the layer I'm on, so you see that is the bike route image is changing colors. So I'm going to leave it blue. I'm going to take the saturation up a little bit, and I'm going to leave this lightness at 0. Okay, I hit OK, and that saves that. Now another thing I can do to brighten and make this image clearer is go back to Image, Adjustments, Levels. And what Levels does is it basically increases the contrast between the dark and the light on each image. So on the bike image, I'm going to take the light end, which is here, and I'm going to pull that arrow down a little, and on the dark end, I'm going to pull that level up. And you bring these in until makes the contrast much higher. It also increases saturation as it does that. So that may not be what you want to do, but you can see when I come up here to my history, I can check and I can see before and after. So on the history panel, I can see this is where I pasted my bike route image. This is where I enlarged it and then made it transparent, changed the opacity to 50%. And then here, I changed the hue saturation. And then here on levels, I changed the contrast. And now I have an image that I'm very pleased with. The last thing I can do is I can change my layer. So this is layer 2 with the bike route image. And if I want to temporarily hide that, I can press this eyeball on the side and that hides it. So I can't see that layer, but it's still there. So I turn it back on to see that layer, and I change the layer. I select layer 1, which is, you can see, it is just the wall. Now I'm on layer 1, and I want to take up the saturation on this as well. So I come back up here to Image, Adjustments, Hue and Saturation, and I'm going to increase the saturation slightly so that more of the red is showing through. You can see the red in this area. So I'm done with that panel, and now I want to increase the contrast. So I come back to Image, Adjustments, Levels, and I can increase the contrast by bringing in these 2 triangles in toward the middle. And then that took up the saturation slightly, which is exactly what I wanted. So now I have a finished image that I'm very pleased with. And I want to save this to my desktop. So I hit Save by going to File, Save As, because I have not saved this image yet. And I title it. So I'm going to call this Bike Route. I make sure that the destination, where it says where, is exactly where I would like it to go. I'm going to change it to my desktop. And then on Format, it may say Photoshop or it may say TIFF. But either one is a layered file, and it will save your layers, so it will not flatten your image. If you want a flattened image that you can either send to someone or make a print of or post on social media, you will want to go to Save a Copy. You will hit Save a Copy, and it will give you the option of creating a JPEG. So here are the JPEG options. You choose the standard one. That's what I do. Again, you come back and you want to save it on your desktop. And so now I've saved it as a layered image, and I've saved it as a flattened image that I can send to people, or what I'm planning to do is post on social media. And that will be a JPEG, which is a good standard flattened image. I hope this has been helpful.